I would rather sit through and just have the show play for me and like skip all the commercials than to have that little break to pee. Like I want to choose the break. I want to choose when I pause it to take a piss, to get the popcorn, to scratch my hair to look at my phone. Like I want to have all the control in the world when it comes to watching my television.
I mean, look, it's this new day and age, bro, where we're getting spoiled for choice. All right, words are hard. I was called a boomer today because I was like, back in my day, we didn't have the internet. We had to just watch TV with no with commercials and enjoy it. But that's here on air. I'm old as shit. Welcome to the Unsolicited Counseling Podcast. We're your hosts. Oh, I'm sorry, Catherine.
I've tried to talk for the last 4 minutes. I want to pull the audio clip of me for the last 4 minutes because it's just like
Well, perfect. I mean, my bad. I'm trying, man. I'm trying to. What's up?
Because it's perfect because we're talking about red flag. I mean, we're talking about dating and how some people aren't that good at it. Welcome to the Unsolicited Counseling Podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Jermaine. No, I'm Martin.
I'm Jermaine.
Can I talk now?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. I'm Kat.
Wait, I'm gonna let you finish. But I just want you to know that this tequila is the best tequila. Okay, go ahead. That's my one Kanye moment. I'm done.
Slowly pours. The down. That's perfect. That's so perfect. Sorry, Catherine. Sorry. We're just got so excited from talking and stuff. So my bad for cutting you off. What were we going to say earlier?
It's fine. It doesn't matter now.
No, it always matters.
Counseling podcast.
It always matters. You matter, Catherine. You matter, Catherine. We're gonna try to be better, including you in on the having you have the seat to talk and stuff like that. We just jump all over you, but we're gonna try to be good. That's gonna be our goal this year. Phrasing? Did you say phrasing?
Oh my god! Yeah, I'm laughing because it looks like she's about to say something, and then Jermaine, you just keep going.
I need to. You know what? That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna move my camera. There we go.
Oh my god! So anyway, what are we talking about today, Catherine?
Dating red flags. I think we've identified the problem here.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. You want to fill this space. There's too much talking on. There's a quiet amount of there's amount of silence that you got to fill it with talking and keeping up and keeping things entertained. But sometimes you just need to listen, and other times you just need to make a lot of money. Because you guys heard about this new dating app? I think Catherine's the one who brought it up, so I'll let you share about it.
I was watching the local news with my granddaddy here, and they have a segment on a dating app that you have to apply to be on it, but you have to have a specific credit score in order to get on the dating app. And so they actually run a credit report on you. It doesn't ding your credit, and if you get denied, they teach you how to build your credit up, but you're guaranteed to match with someone who has a good credit score.
Wait, this can't be real. No, this can't be real.
Well, you're not. I don't think you're guaranteed to. Well, I guess if you match with somebody, they're gonna have a good credit score. Yeah. I was I wouldn't want to put that guarantee word out there because you can get on the apps and not swipe and not have anybody match you. But if you're on the app, the other person you're talking to has at least a 675 credit score and above. Now they don't put you with other people who are at 770 and something else, but you just know they at least have a 675.
Yeah.
Wait, so they don't put in how with the credit score it's good, excellent, bad. They don't filter you that way, or is it just as long as you get in, you get in?
Yeah, it's like a club. As long as you get in, you're in.
Do you have to pay anything like other than like kind of like with a I think it was another dating app called Elite or
Oh,
something like
oh yeah.
Oh, isn't like Elise only or something to that effect?
yeah or VIP or something. But like you had to I think they showed it on Insecure where you had to like put in an application and been on a waiting list and stuff like that. So is it similar to that?
I don't know. I didn't look that far into it.
You thought it was just funny?
Well, it's brand new. Like, so it just debuted yesterday, like on Valentine's Day. Like, it's literally just launched, and they're doing like a 90-day trial period. So, with the trial period, I'm guessing that after that, it's going to cost money. But I think they really just want to see how many people that get onto the app and how successful it is, and whether they want to continue supporting it after the 3 months.
Well, it's just funny when you said talk about how important finances are in like relationships, and I was like, I just saw this.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really important, personally speaking, because yesterday was Valentine's Day,
Mm-hmm.
and we went out to Jose Andres, the Bazaar rest experience, and it's a really fancy place. It's like that's not Mexican, I guess Spanish themed restaurant. It has like a really nice tasting menu, so everything is like bougie, one bite things, but it actually leaves you full by the end of it. Like I had like this incredible wagyu steak. I had some lobster, had some caviar, had all these really nice indulgent type meal experience. I gotta post pictures on my Instagram. I meant to do that, but I'll get around to it. But it was so good until I got the bill. I was like, man, this is great. We should do this more often. This is so fantastic. Here's your bill, sir. Yo, man, I think this got too many zeros.
Right, exactly.
I like putting it up to the light and regretting the time I had with Janae on Tuesday.
True.
I'm like, why do I spend so much money? Came out $500 later.
No.
$500 after
Oh.
tip. And yeah, miserable.
I mean,
So
okay. How like in y'all opinion, how important is finances when you're well, not even like in a relationship, but like when you're dating, like in the dating world. I guess like Catherine and I are in the I guess single in the dating world. How important would you say like financial or like credit score? How important is that? Because I feel like credit score, like I wouldn't know if I asked that the first date. Like, what do you think?
I mean, I think you can tell if somebody's responsible with their money on a first date without like coming out and asking about it.
It's like the new dating question is not is not like oh what do what do you do? It's like oh what's your credit score like
can you elaborate on that? Like, how can you tell based on the first date if they take you to go get coffee? Is it really like, oh, they're broke? Like, what type of mannerism? What type of style? Like, what are like the key things that let you know that someone is has money or doesn't have money or
I mean, in
like,
conversation, I think you can just tell, like, by lifestyle choices. Have they been on a bunch of like crazy vacations recently? Do they talk about crypto? Like,
oh my god crypto's a red flag.
is it?
Well, I don't know. I feel like you live life on the edge, and also you definitely miss the boat. And like me, sometimes can't read the room. If you're like investing in crypto, then I'm like, all right, bro. Like, what are you doing? If you said stock, I'm like, okay, all right. And then you say invest QQQ, I'm like, you just saw it from the Super Bowl commercial.
I don't even know what QQQ is. So
Yeah, I don't know either. Like, I don't know either.
they're talking about crypto. You can see it in how they go on vacation. So these are the tricks that women are playing where they're like, "Oh, what do you do for fun? Where have you been?" It's like this is how they're figuring out if this guy has deep pockets or not. Is this correct?
I mean, you can definitely tell.
Hmm.
If they come into the bar
Mhm.
with like your first date, or let's say your first date is what would your first date, your ideal first date be, Catherine?
Don't know. Uh,
on a yacht.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ideally, you
At
said
the
ideally.
bazaar.
Jose Andres.
Well, gotta find someone with a credit score of at least 800. Okay.
True.
They don't give those out to black people. Anyway, so
Bro, I'm still scratching, bro. I'm still trying to get to 800.
how to be racist on a dating app without being racist. Hey, I want to do this credit score. Well, how did you get here?
You make a lot of money. No credit score, though. No paper trail. Only paper.
What about you, Jermaine? Do you think that you would? Do you consider finances when it comes to like mating? Actually, no. Answer your first question. How much do you think you need to have to be dating? Like, do you think you need to make a certain amount of money to be out there trying to meet people, dating? Because dating is expensive. Like, especially if you're fronting the bill.
Um, for me, like I wouldn't say it's like a certain amount of money you need to be making, but you need to be comfortable enough that like if you're going on dates and stuff. But I'm not saying like they taking you to like $500 restaurant, but even just like going to like a restaurant or activities or whatever, like every week or at least twice a week if things start getting good with this person, you gotta at least be making it like on like uppers like definitely past 70 to 80. It depends on the area, right? K. It definitely depends on the area. Like 80K in LA is not nothing. Like or New York is like nothing. Like you'll be taking them somewhere, but that's where you'll find the type of people that are in your so it sounds horrible, but in your price range. Like you gotta
I
find
mean,
this.
I think that there is a price range. I think there is a price range when it comes to dating. I was on Instagram looking at my reels because I get bored at times. And one of the reels I saw was a lady talking about dating. She was just like, men, if you are making $50,000, you don't need to go on that date. You need to be working on getting your money up, not your funny up. You don't have time to be spending money on other women. You need to spend it on yourself, figure out how you're going to make more money because in this economy, you can't afford to take care of somebody else with $50,000. And when I heard that, I was like, I mean, as like harsh as that sounds, I kind of agree with that. Like, it's hard to have like I mean, you can do like inexpensive things. Like you can, like you said, go to the park, get coffee, so on and so forth. But the average person isn't able to like afford living by themselves with 50,000. You have roommates, you have other, living with family, et cetera, et cetera. Like it's hard to get by with like not that much money, let
Mhm.
alone try to take care of and date someone else. Like eventually, you're gonna want to have to go to dinner or want to do something nicer than going to the park or have like realistic. I don't know, have higher expectations. I think eventually your partner is gonna want higher expectations if they want to go somewhere serious with you. What do you guys think?
I agree. It's funny because it's like, oh man, you got that museum date looking kind of good. Like we went through like all the museums in DC. Bet. Say less. You know that's a free day each time. We can go to the mall. Good. But no, I agree. I feel like if you're struggling to make enough money or struggling like you're living paycheck to paycheck paycheck to paycheck. I feel like I've been drinking. I haven't been drinking that much. I'm slurring. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, I can't say it. It's a tongue twister.
Paycheck by paycheck.
There we go. Then it's at that point you got to do the self work to figure out like, okay, I don't want to be in this situation because if that person, let's say you do lock it down, right? Let's say you have a great time, you meet, blah blah blah, and then now they're in your life. How let's or anything like they move in, whatever. Like that's one way to save money. Not soon, but I'm saying like when you have like a partner, like a constant partner, now that money that you wouldn't be spending is now being spent on this stuff. Because I've been there. I've been there where I was like, oh, well, I need to do this. I want to try to do this stuff, even though like my debt's going up, my credit score is going down. I was like, but I want to do these experiences and I can't say no. People pleasing. So I end up in a really bad spot, like buying things don't need because it's her birthday, it's our anniversary, Valentine's Day, Christmas, the list goes on. So definitely being in a stable position where you have extra money. Like if you have a savings account, first of all, I think that's the bare minimum. You got a savings account, all right, you get. I give you the green light to date, but
Well, I feel like everyone can have a savings account and have no money in it. Like having a
right.
savings account isn't going to add much value unless you're constantly investing into it. What about you, Catherine? What are your views on going on dates with someone who doesn't really have the funds to kind of do more? I don't know if you've been through an experience like that, or if you would be open to dating someone in that experience. I guess in that mode.
It was interesting. The newscaster on the news last night when they were talking about this, he was like, "I didn't have a good credit score when I met my wife." Um, it's like I don't even know if I knew what a credit score was, but they're like happily married now. I think that it depends on like the individual person and where you are in life. I don't want to say like a blanket statement like you have no business dating if you have terrible finances, because a lot of people have a lot of like school loan debt. Job market is tough out there these days.
Mm-hmm.
um, but I think that as long as you're like matching with the expectations of your partner, like if you're someone who likes to go out all the time, or you like taking trips and things like that, then like you obviously want to date someone that can afford to do those things with you. Um,
That's true. I got a question for you, Catherine. So it was an episode of I think either Love Is Blind or 90 Day. Oh no, Married at First Sight. I don't know if y'all saw this, but it was a guy on Married at First Sight that my man credit score wasn't looking good. You know, he just like I don't know what job he had. He was basically just like a dude that was just making ends meet, right? Just going about it, saving, trying to get out of debt. Ain't making the best money. The woman they matched him with was like an entrepreneur that had two businesses and
Oh.
loved to travel. Loved like she didn't like cooking. She wanted to go out every night and stuff like that. And they got in an argument because she's like, I want to go to I don't know, pick a place, Italy. I want to go to Italy, and he was like, oh, like next year. She was like, no, next month. And he was like, well, I gotta get my money right and save. So unless you're paying, I'm not going. Wrong answer. Wrong answer. Now my question, Catherine, is: do you feel like not the expectation, but the social like idea of like if the man, quote unquote, man had um the money and the woman didn't, like it's assumed that the guy would take care of the woman. But if a woman had it, she can't take care of the guy. Like, do you think that's changing, or you think it's still like kind of like baked into like America, like dating society?
I have a ton of thoughts about this actually. One, the
Yes.
personal story, and two, I saw something else on the news today about the. Obviously, all I do is watch the news these days.
Like CNN just already opened it.
Brunetti wakes up, I switch it back to Fox really quickly. For real.
I'm done.
uh, so, personal story in a past relationship. I did not have a job at the time, or maybe was working like part time or something. We did a lot of like camping and traveling, so low budget stuff, but we also would do like go to see live music. I remember he wanted to go to a couple different shows, and I was saying that I didn't have the money to do that at the time because I didn't have a job. Um, and I, hmm, anyways, we went back and forth, and he was basically said there were other problems, but he said, "Great, like I'll just go by myself then." And I remember being like, we were actually camping and being like furious and really upset about that for a long time. Um, and it felt weird, but now, like looking back on it, I think that I have more clarity and like understanding. I think it goes back, like, I don't think that there's like a guy role or a girl role. I just think that like you should want to do stuff with your partner. And I know that like if I don't have it, then I think it's a big red flag if one person is constantly like relying on the other one
Mm,
to provide. But I think that in relationships, things balance out usually.
Yeah, that's
Sometimes.
that's interesting because growing up, I always thought of myself as wanting a housewife. Like I wanted to be the provider and like taking care of her, and she just like watches the house, like does the majority of the work with kids, so on and so forth. As time has elapsed and the world has changed, in my head, I'm like, that's not a realistic image of America anymore. Like there are people who still do that, who like have a family, like just take care of the wife stays home with the kids, and they have a wonderful life. The life that I want for myself and what I would want for my future kids, I would want to, you know, continue to travel, do things that, I did prior to being married. Like I enjoyed going out. Like we have homie trips. Sometimes we go to Asheville and we hang out with Catherine. Sometimes we go to Vegas. Like I really enjoy traveling and then like the going out to dinner and stuff like that. And if I were the sole provider of the family, that would be something that couldn't happen. Um,
mm,
so it's weird now because I feel like in this economy, unless you're making 200 plus, it seems like you need the other person to be providing in some way, shape, or fashion. Unless, well, in this area, I guess specific to this DC area, everything is so expensive. Like you can get by renting. Like I feel like I can provide for us as a renter, but buying with these interest rates,
nah.
no, couldn't be me. So
Mm,
I mean I think there is a place for gender roles if you're open to them and you're like, hey, like this is what I want, and both parties agree, and it definitely just comes down to that like understanding between you and your partner. That's what that's the goals you set forth, but or expectations you set up. But I can also see the other way around where like the woman is the breadwinner and the guy stays at home with the kids and does stuff around the house and cleans up. Like, I mean, God forbid, if my wife was making 300, I'm quitting my job. I'm chilling at the house. I'm playing Power. I'm teaching the kids how to play the game.
that's
I'm mopping
right.
floors. I'm like, yeah, take me everywhere. It's fine.
Well, man, I'm
Yeah,
with you.
a nanny.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh man. I had a question. Like, how important is because we talked about financial and dates and stuff like that. Like, I guess not how important, but how stressful can finances be to a relationship? Is it second
Oh,
to
man. You want me to take this? I can take this.
religion or children? Like, where is it on the scale? Because when you date, you never like, and I think that's probably an example of why they do the credit score thing. But you never think about finances when you're dating somebody in the beginning.
No, I personally don't think that you should be worried about someone else's finances when you're dating, unless you have a quality of like you have like this expectation of like Catherine said, like if you like to travel, like going out to dinner, et cetera, et cetera. If they're not meeting that, odds are you're not going to be with that person very long. Now, if you have this expectation where you're coming from nothing, like we're in college, we don't have jobs, we don't know what we're doing, we're just kind of figuring it out. We're all kind of starting at that same point. If you didn't have like rich parents taking care of you or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So in that aspect, you're just kind of growing up, and somebody might find a job right off the bat. The other person is still looking, or they don't have a really well-paying job. You move in together, and it's just like this misbalance of wealth. You're like, okay, well, I'm
Mm-hmm.
making 60, and you're making like 30, but you're not married, so it's not like your money is together. It's like you're just not making as much as me. I want to go do this. I want to try. Kind of similar to Catherine's story. Like I want to go to these concerts, and you're like, I can't afford that. And you're like, well, I don't want this to deprive me of this experience, so I'm gone. Where the other option could have been, hey, like I will front the cost of this because I really want you to be there, and because that's more important to me. Like there are different ways to go about it. Oh, we lost Jermaine. There you are. There's different ways to go about it, and in my relationship personally, we moved in together, and my wife made, well, at the time she was just my girlfriend. She's like 50-50 across the board. And I was like, okay, I love that plan. That is perfect for me. So I had all this excess money. I was traveling. I was doing all these things. I'm like, you want to go? You can't afford it? It's tough shit. Doing so much. And there was one point where she just kind of like broke down and she was like, I literally can't do anything. I'm drowning here. I have to
Mm.
work these extra shifts. I have to do all this. Like, I can't. And I was like, well, you said that you want to do 50-50. I offered other options, but this is what you wanted. And eventually we got to a point where it was like, okay, I will pay like basically 80% to 20%, essentially, or whatever the wage. I think we did like math with it because, I'm like a math person. So I'm like,
Math,
all
math.
right. So I make about 20% more than you. So we meet at that point or something to that effect. That way she had money to spend and pay on her student loans, and I still had money to travel. I just wasn't saving as much or investing as much, which is fine. Now it changes when you get married. Because you're married, and there are a lot of people who do things different ways. But I think the best way to handle finances when you're married is just have one pot. A lot of people say, "Hey, I'm just going to focus on my bills and your bills, and then we come together for some of these bills in the middle." It just gets messier and it's harder because some person, like I said, one person's probably not making as much, and it's just complicated in that way. And there's a study that was done that most successful relationships just pull all their money together.
Mm-hmm.
And the ones who don't, they have more financial issues, they fight and they break up. So there's a little bit of a research and science that went into this decision because initially my wife didn't really want to put money together. And I was just like, listen, I'm the breadwinner at this point. I'm like, this is fine. I'd rather do
I
this.
got a bakery.
I was like, yeah. I was like, I'd rather put our money together and then we just pay out of one thing than for us to each have different accounts. And there could be like this mistrust, like, oh, if she's gonna pull money into her account, then I'm not gonna have money, and it's complicated in that regard. So yeah, I think that when you're dating, you shouldn't be too hyper fixated on your partner's money, but you also have to be realistic with the lifestyle that you want to have
Mm.
when you're dating. Because if you want to do more and your partner can't afford that, you have to either be willing to front the bill or make the decision like, oh, I'm just not going to worry about it. And so one way is better than the other, but it depends. Like I said, I'm not the best. I'm not the best in that scenario because I also was just like, oh, well, I want to do this and I'm going to do it. But looking back on it, I probably could have been like, oh, like I want you there too. We'll do it. We'll do it together.
Yeah, and while you were talking, I remembered I can picture where I was sitting in the woods. I texted you like the whole thing. I don't know if you remember this, asking for advice, and I was like super upset. I was like, "Is this normal? I can't believe it." And you texted back, and you're like, "I don't see a problem with it. People can have and it sounds healthy." And I remember being like, "Martin's not my friend anymore."
Well, so I was looking at it through his perspective, like, well, it's his money. Like,
Yeah.
I think I still agree with that. I
Yeah,
still agree with what I
and
said.
like I said, I've come around too, but I remember specifically being like, he's never gonna believe this. And then Martin immediately fired back, like, I don't see a problem with that. That actually sounds healthy to me.
It's like, hey, if you want to go, just figure it out. Figure out a way to go.
Mm.
Be like Jermaine and go into like mountains of debt.
It's true. It's true. Or just hoping that someone will and I think that's the thing. Like for me, and I agree with Catherine what she said earlier. It's like I don't know if it's like in the relationship before marriage or whatever. It's like definitely not dating. Like in the dating phase, you're not gonna be like, "Hey, yo, can you front me?" But something that I know I normally look at when dating because I still think that the guy normally I didn't make the rules, but the guy normally pays for the first date. Don't I had some people say like, and you can jump in, Catherine, if you disagree, but I was talking to like a coworker. She's a Zoomer. She was like, "Oh, like the person that asked to go on a date pays," and I was like, "I don't think that ever happened to me. Like even like I've like someone's asked me on a date, like at least initiated. They're like, "Oh yeah, let's go do this," like, or "What are you doing this weekend?" And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I still ended up having to pay. But my thing is like I think that was on How I Met Your Mother or Friends. I get them mixed up, but I know sacrilege.
It's how I met your brother. It has to be.
The Reach,
Yeah.
yeah, the Reach. And I tell people about the Reach all the time. So they're like, "Oh, do you want her to pay for the bill?" I was like, "No, the Reach signifies something more than just them paying. If she does the Reach and the guy doesn't take, that shows her something about the guy. If she reach and the guy does, if she doesn't reach and the guy takes or like offers, that also shows something deeper about their relate, like where it's at. So to me, like the reach shows like, oh, we're gonna be to me, we're gonna be like, if this relationship continues, it's not gonna be always on me, expected on me for like finances. Like we can be a team.
Mm.
And if I was like, if she reached and I was like, oh no, you got it, like it was signify to her like, who the fuck is this dude? Like, is he a deadbeat? Does he have a like? Does he have a good job? Like what? So I don't know. What do you think about the reach, Catherine? I want to hear your thoughts.
This has come up a couple times recently, actually. I was texting a friend, um, and the guy like up front said like bring cash to the right. I had the same reaction. Other people were like, well, they're at least like um being transparent in the beginning and like not being rude about it. But um yeah, I might be old fashioned, but I would well, I think dating apps have changed everything because people go on so many dates now. Um, but
I mean, honestly, that gave me the ick when my man said bring cash.
yeah, right. Um, but yeah, no, I think what?
Oh
I
no,
just think
Martin.
this man is a visionary. Like
Kanye
this man
fan.
is
It's
like,
just the
hey, and it's 2024. Like women are working just as much as men. Like you put up or shut up. Like you gotta meet me halfway. If you're not meeting me halfway, we ain't going nowhere. Listen, he called the bluff. He's like, "Are you going to do this or not?"
Yeah.
And if
All
she
right.
did,
What was her thought? What did your friend say?
Oh, uh, the same thing. Like he was asking her out and then said bring like it. I expect I don't know, an invitation to like go out, I think assume, especially like a very casual like first date scenario. I don't know. It sets the groundwork nicely if you pay. If the bill is obviously I don't expect Jose Andre, but like
I mean, my brother was asked to go on a date that the minimum entree was like $120. That was the minimum price, and she was like,
I'm
"Oh, we
sorry.
can go here, huh?"
I'm sorry. What?
Yeah. On average, cause my brother looked it up, he was like, on average, people spend about Jose Andre like $500 with drinks included, and he was like, for the first date, and she was like, yeah, yeah. He was like, okay, counter offer. Another place across the street, $20 per entree. What up? She said we're not a good match then. So she filtered him. But I mean, it's the lifestyle you choose, like where you see money as a tool, not just like to experience life, but also a tool to, I guess, weed out people and figure out they can provide the lifestyle that you want.
Well, if we're talking about tools, it's the girl who said, "Let's go to the most expensive restaurant on the first date." Like, I don't think that that's a quality of life thing for her. I just think that she was trying to get a really nice meal, personally. But this is me from I haven't been out dating in a while, so.
The Zoomer said that too.
Oh, okay. So, listen, your Zoomer friend is accurate.
Yeah,
They're so woke. They know how dating works.
but never had a boyfriend, so it's like, okay, I'm teaching her about
The
relationships.
birds and the bees.
Might as well at this
oh,
point.
don't do that. That oh
Janae's low key
no.
grooming.
Yeah, no.
Oh no, no, no. Oh no, 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 no. She's definitely, oh no, never. Never, never. She's actually very smart. She told me that um how she goes about dating is like she has an age range, just like most people, but her age range is like capped at like 1 to 2 years older and 1 year younger because she sees the effects of grooming. She understands like the power dynamics, and that actually would be a good episode on like dating, like different
Power dynamics.
various power dynamics or how people can display like power. Example of the credit card thing, like the credit check thing. Hey, I got 850. What you got? 650? Nah, nah. And then you're always trying to climb that, but I
Here's a
don't know.
I have a counterpoint to this credit score situation is that a lot of people aren't using credit cards anymore. A lot of people are just going straight using cash and getting a credit card, and you're not building credit. So people who haven't built credit aren't going to be able to be on these apps. So just with that in mind, it's not a one size fit all. A lot of people have their parents build credit for them when they're younger, so they can have good credit when they get older. I don't think credit's going to be a thing in the future. But that's just a me thing.
Nah, we're gonna have social credit like
We'll, we'll,
China.
have, we'll probably have more of a social credit score than an actual, credit score.
Oh dang! So you telling me I gotta actually put photos on my Instagram? Oh shit!
Oh yeah, it's a good time to be out the game, guys. Let me tell you, my Instagram is dry as a bone.
Well, as we're coming to a close, Catherine, are you going to look into this credit score dating app?
No, I was thinking that's where, like, you're definitely gonna go there to meet all the sociopath, psychopath, serial killers.
Uh,
I'll be deleting this app now.
and I'll just go back to good old Tinder. But you know what? We'll see as the year goes on. But what a way to end Valentine's Day and Desperation Day. Guys, thank you for this listening to this episode. We might do a continuation, probably be just relationship month. We might as well do a dating month of February for you guys to help prepare. I don't know if you're out in the dating world. But yeah, like where can they like send their comments and information and questions? Where can they send that to?
Yeah, you can find us at Unsolicited Counseling Podcast on Facebook, You Advice Podcast at gmail.com. Man, this tequila's hitting. It hit at the right time, too. And you can also find us at Unsolicited Counseling on Instagram as well. And
Awesome.
YouTube,
And
obviously.
YouTube. Awesome, guys. And as always, we're here for you guys. We love you guys. We're here for you guys. Hurt one drink at a time, one episode at a time. Be easy, y'all.
Latest.
Punching out.
Oh my god.